Hey everybody, I am Haley Gray and I am the founder of the WEN's Entrepreneur Network and I am super stoked. Give me a high five, give me a hello everybody. If you're joining us, give us a hello. Because we are doing this month's WEN-Talk and this is going to be 6 amazing speakers being kicked off here with our dear friend, admin, Facebook group helper, welcoming committee, Tif Loefler. And you know what's so exciting is just tell her hello, give her a hi, give her a welcome, give her some amazing support here, y'all. Tif, I am so happy to have you here. And with that, I am going to give you the stage. Welcome, Tif. Welcome, everybody. I'm so excited to have you here. And here you go. Here's the stage.
You are the best, Haley. Oh my gosh, I love being here. When Haley asked me to be here today, of course, I leapt at it. Any way to support Haley and Women's Entrepreneur Network, I am down for it. And I am so excited. So hello, everybody. My name is Tif Loefler. I am your positive intelligence coach. What is positive intelligence? I love this definition. The thoughts in our head can either be our best friend or our worst enemy. And I'm all about making friends. And how do you do that? Well, today I get to have the stage for a few minutes, and I had a talk all planned, and then something happened last night, and I decided I'm going to try something. So I want y'all to thank you for bearing with me and going on this journey, because I'm going to talk about stories. Yep, I'm going to talk about stories. And I even brought one of my favorite storybooks from when I was a little girl, and it's the story of Cinderella. And I brought that because, you know, Cinderella, that she went on a hero's journey. I love talking about the hero's journey, the heroine's journey, and she had her ups and downs, and she kept faith, and she had this beautiful happily ever after. And I thought, okay, I'm going to look at the definition of a story stories are told for entertainment. There's your definition. We tell stories, whether they're made up, whether they're real, and we do that for entertainment. But I love the other definition that I found that said it's an account of past events in someone's life or in the evolution of something. And I thought, oh my God, I love that. And we're looking at a story. So I'm here to talk to you about your story. I'm here to just take a few minutes and talk about how it is so amazing that we do have a chance to create the stories in our lives. And why is it so often we go immediately to a horror story? And what do I mean by that? If we're going to try something new, if we're going to meet someone for the first time, I don't know about you, but sometimes, a lot of times, I have actually created the story in my mind before I even allowed it to happen. I knew exactly what that person was going to say. If I'm going to meet with someone to talk about a potential business collaboration, I probably already know that they're going to say no. Or I probably know that they're going to have some ideas that they don't know how this is going to work. I'm going to have to struggle through this. I mean, does that ever happen to you? I just want you to maybe take a moment and think, or if you're meeting someone for the first time, you get nervous, like, oh, are they gonna like me? Oh, they probably won't like me. What if I say the wrong things? Like, it's amazing how we create these stories ahead of time in our minds without giving us this possibility of what could be. And I think it's amazing when we have stories that are in our minds, and a lot of times it's what we don't want. And I'm here to say, as a positive intelligence coach, I get that. Our brains are wired for it. So I just want to let you know it's okay. I don't want you to think, oh, it happens. Our brain is wired for that feeling of, oh my gosh, something might be wrong. I better have that contingency in my head. I better have the scenario. I better figure this out. Because back in the day, we had a lot of very real, immediate, physical impediments to our lives, to living. And look at how lives have changed. Look at all the beautiful comforts we have. And isn't it crazy? It's like our brain's like, okay, well, I guess I'm gonna have to start making stuff up because I still have to be on it. I better make sure that I have the story straight in my head. Whew. This is where I'm going to introduce you to a way of letting the stories go and just being open to the story of being in the moment. And it is my favorite way to not distract ourselves, but to redirect our thoughts. Believe it or not, you're in control of your story. You get to choose. Choose your own adventure. You get to choose the life that you want. And it is so hard to do that. I know, when you've got all these thoughts running in your mind and you're so distracted, and then you want some other distractions like, oh my gosh, hello, the biggest distractor in the universe is our phone. We want to be on that 24/7. It's got great information. It connects us with people, but it can also get us caught in a story of distraction. And I want to give you this tool. It's called a PQ rep, and it's very simple. And this is all you do. When a thought pops in your head, and I could give you a couple, right now I could be saying, oh my gosh, I don't know if this presentation is good enough. I don't think I'm saying the right things. Maybe I'm talking too fast. Maybe I'm too animated. You can stop. You can take a pause, and you can say, all right, thought, I see you. You can have some fun with this too. When you have a thought that pops in your head going, and we call it the judge in positive intelligence, I don't think you're doing this right. You can say, oh, there you are. Oh, Judge, I'm so glad you showed up because I was expecting you. I knew you'd be here trying to tear me down when I'm in the middle of a presentation. You can have fun with it. Why not have some fun? So much out there that is beautiful and wonderful, and let's just have some fun. So you simply take thumb and fingertip, and you just lightly rub them together and close your eyes. Unless you're driving or walking, please keep your eyes open. Rather than that, you just close your eyes, and you are very curious about being so thoughtful as you lightly touch these fingertips together. Wow, I can feel my own unique fingerprints. And in those few seconds, what did you just do? Now, I love, I love having fun, but I'm also very analytical, and I love learning about the brain. And here's what happened in your brain. You had a thought, and that thought could have either gone a negative route or a positive route. A lot of times our brain just happens to go negative because that's the way it's wired. It's okay. And we can train it. We can self-command. It's in our power. I love saying the power to change is at your fingertips. Are you ready? Yes, you are. Because what happened is I said to that thought, any thought of negativity, you know what? I'm not going to give you any power. I'm going to self-command. I'm taking my power back with my time, and I'm going to do this. Whew, and I'm also going to take a breath, and then you have now changed the direction from negative to positive. Your brain is now calm. It's collected. It's ready to receive a better message. How about the better message is, you know what? I'm doing my best here today. And I am so excited to be here and share with you and remind us all that we are here to shine our light. We are here to create connections and enjoy life, and to make sure that the time that we have, we're in the present moment, like just enjoying the now. And that's what I want to share with you today. And I'll just do my best. And you know what? We're all doing our best. And isn't that a much better message? That's so much more best friend than that worst enemy. And I'm going to challenge us here, and I'm going to say, who's running your business? Is your best friend running your business? The one who thinks you're the greatest ever, who knows you've got goods and services that people need right now, as you are right now? Or is it your worst enemy who's constantly badgering you, telling you you're not doing things right, you're never going to be enough? When it's your business, well, you're supposed to be with your family, and with your family, why aren't you running your business? And your time is never your own. And who's going to pay at the end of the day when time slips away again? Is it your business? Is it your family? How about you? How about you and what you want? And I will tell you right now, when you have stressful thoughts, that affects your body. That hurts you. And your best friend never wants you to be hurt. Your best friend is cheering you on. You want those thoughts in your mind to be your best friend saying, gosh, I believe in you. In fact, I'm going to offer what I like to call a celestial service announcement, because we're all made of mostly water, and it's really important to stay hydrated. That's a best friend thing to say, like, oh my gosh, Tiff, take a sip of water right now. And in just doing that, I'm hydrating my body. I'm doing something wonderful for myself. I just want, if there was something that I could share that I feel is just so important. We have to take care with the thoughts in our mind, because when they're your worst enemy, that stress is hurting you in all areas of your life, inside and out. It's hurting your body. It's hurting your environment. It's hurting your relationships. It's hurting your business. All of it. So again, I'm going to give you that real quick PQ rep and a couple alternates. Let's say that you're in a meeting and you don't have to be holding it up and showing everybody. See, I'm doing it right now. Or you can't see because I lowered my hand. But let's say you're in a meeting. Let's say you're on the phone with someone and something triggers you. It happens. Instead of immediately going to that negative thought, just take a moment and just tell your mind, hey, I see what you're trying to do. I got you. I'm not paying attention. I'm not giving you that power. I'm taking my power back. And maybe it's kind of an intense situation. You just a little more. Well, you can also do this. Take your fingers and rub them up and down the palm of your hand. And you're not really thinking, okay? This is just being curious about what's happening in the moment with your hand. Giving your brain a chance to reset, reboot, relax. And even for there are some people that this is maybe a little too much, a little sensitive. That's okay. I got you. We can take that great distractor and turn it into redirection. We can do the same thing with our phone. Notice the color. Notice the temperature. No deep thoughts. Just for a moment. This isn't taking a long time. Oh, the benefits are incredible, and you're so worth it. And how does that tie into our story? How many times a day are we caught in a story that just flies into our head and we run on default, not design? And that's what I wanted to share with you about stories today. And I have a few more minutes, and I wanted to offer, because I love when that definition about a story talked about the evolution of something. And this was in 2021. I'm going to tell you a story. Once upon a time, there was a girl named Tif, and she was new to Facebook. She had a Facebook account, but she really wasn't involved in Facebook. But then, wow, something happened in 2020, and we all had to reconnect in different ways. And in 2021, she saw a group called Women's Entrepreneur Network. Oh my gosh, it looked really exciting. There's so many people in there. And she thought, okay, I'm going to join. And she wasn't used to joining these groups. And she read the admin, these are the rules. And they were great rules. It's just, in her story, she created a story of, oh my gosh, I will never be able to comment or post or like. I can't make a mistake. They'll kick me out of the group. Because there are stories that are ancestral too. And one of our big worries is that we're not going to be accepted. We're not going to be in a group. We'll be kicked out of a group. And when you're kicked out of a group, way back when, what did that mean? Death. It does not mean death anymore. If you're kicked out of a group in Facebook for some reason, please don't try to do that. But so I had the story in my head. Oh, I can't. I'm just going to be on the sidelines. And yet I had another story in my head that, wow, I would really like to connect. And I mean this, I would love to connect with Haley Gray. Oh my God, the head of this. That would be so cool. Maybe I could reach out to her sometime. So there's competing stories. Oh, no way I can, then I can. And I'm here to say, if we let stories in our mind keep us from taking action, we can dream big dreams. We can imagine in our head that story, but if we're not here in the 3D physical world taking action, however imperfect, things can't happen. Well, unbeknownst to me, I was taking a lot of imperfect actions that led me to joining a particular business, that led me to talk with one of the heads of that business, who led me to another networking place called CIBN. And it was in that networking place that I met Carrie George, who was the head of CIBN, and talked with her and developed a relationship. And there's a point to this connecting me back to Haley, which again, kind of blows my mind. So now it's 2022. I've met Carrie, and she invited me to another meeting, and all of a sudden there's Haley Gray. And I'm just like, is that Haley Gray? I think that's the Haley Gray of Women's Entrepreneur Network. And honestly, I get a little lump in my throat because I'm like, oh my God, I was so excited. I'm not really I mean, I think it's fun for celebrities and singers and, pop stars, but my heroes are the ones that are out there making lives better for people who in a different way. Like, it's not, I think it's, I'm not into the celebrity worship, but I certainly do love to be around people who are worthy of admiration and inspiration and action. And guess what? I got to have a one-on-one private consult with Haley Gray. It was awesome. And it was also a kick in the pants. Because sometimes in our stories, we have it, we want it to be perfect, and we try to have that false positivity. I'm a positive intelligence coach, but I also know that there are times where, hey, we're in trouble, whether in our business, our relationships, and our families, and you need someone to talk to, and you need someone to say, hey, you have told me this. I am now sharing that with you. I'm holding up the mirror. That's what Haley did for me with my business. And she told me some things that were hard to hear, but that I needed to hear. And I was able to create a different story in my mind. It started like, oh, I'm doing some things not right. I need to do some other things. And as best I can say, the point of how that all came about was, as we go around and we live our lives and we're creating our stories, if we stay open to possibilities and we're okay with making mistakes and failing, because failing isn't the opposite of success. It's a part of success. One of the things I've learned from Haley. And now I'm very fortunate to develop a relationship with both Haley and with Carrie. And they're combining forces, ultimate collaboration. I am so excited. They're creating a new weekly networking event, and they asked me to be their host. And if you had said that was going to be part of my story way back when I first signed up for that Facebook group in 2021, I would have said, oh, you got to be kidding me. Absolutely not. And isn't that sad? Just in my last moment here, just to say, have you ever had this beautiful dream and someone says, hey, you could have this, you could do this. In your mind, you're thinking, I'd like to try this. And maybe there's just that one person, that one post, one comment, and you feel destroyed. You feel like it's never going to happen. Can't happen. Oh, why do we tell ourselves those stories? I'm just here to say, just because we do. But there's always a chance every moment of every day to change that. And it just starts with just telling yourself, you know what? I'm not going to be thinking that thought. I'm tired of that worst enemy. I am my own best friend, and I get to choose the thoughts. And the thoughts that I choose create the stories in my life, and it's the story that I want. And so as I wrap up this time with you, I just wanted to say thank you. Like, it's okay to have a Cinderella story where you're wondering, is it ever going to happen? And then something happens, and it's okay to have those doubts and frustrations and fears, but just to know that you deserve to be supported and supplied. I have a coach friend, her name's Beth. I love that she said that to me. And I want to make sure that you are supported and supplied. So I'll get my information out there. If you're feeling, oh my gosh, I have these dreams, but I also have these thoughts in my mind that, they're just always so negative. I get that. But I want you to take your time back. The time that you're spending in those thoughts, let's get you that story that you want. And here's what I'm going to end with. As long as we know and we have the power to understand that our life is built up on stories, then choose the story that you want. You make it the best story. I want you to not only imagine it, but I want you to feel into it, and I want you to take action on it. And in doing that, your world opens up. And yes, we have our ups and downs. And yet, isn't it the best when you hear a story that says, and they lived happily ever after? That's what we want. We get to have our happily ever after right now. We get to have it today. We get to start today. Like, how's my happily ever after today? How am I feeling about myself? Am I treating myself well? Am I hydrating? Am I moving, exercising, and grooving? Because we want to keep our body strong. Am I thinking the best thoughts? Am I making the best connections? Am I reaching out to people when I need help? And I will tell you right now, cannot have too much support. I'm here to support you. I am Tif Loefler, your positive intelligence coach. I so appreciate you letting me be here today just to talk a little bit about story. Haley, I so appreciate you. Thank you.
I appreciate you too. And wow, y'all, you need to get to know Tiff a little bit better. She is such an inspiration and such an amazing, amazing coach and person. And yeah, how does somebody get in touch with you?
You know that, and I love that you asked that. Thank you. I am going to try to quickly get this in the chat. We'll see how this.
And then we will get that posted and shared. And thank you, Tiff, so much for doing this.
I got it in there. It's been a pleasure. Thank you, everybody. Have an awesome day.
Thank you so much. And with that, by the power of the magic of the StreamYard, we're going to switch speakers and welcome our next speaker, our next amazing intuitive speaker to the stage, who currently has herself muted and her speaker turned off.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Welcome to the stage, my dear friend, Paige Stevensen, Master Intuitive. I am so delighted to have you guys here. Everybody, let's give Tiff and Paige a huge round of applause and welcome them and let them know how much you appreciate them for being here, and leave them a comment and cheer them on. So welcome, Paige.
Oh my gosh. I just was listening to Tiff, and Tiff's a dear friend too. Oh, I love her energy. Oh my gosh, I'm so jacked now. Anyways, my name is Paige Stevensen. I'm a master intuitive, and what the heck does that mean? Well, that just means I've learned how to work with my intuition. The name of my company is the Intuitive Advisor. And so for today, I just wanted to talk to you exactly about that, your intuition, because there's a lot of stuff going on in our world, is there not? In a minute, I'll explain this painting to you. But for right now, let's just talk about me. Because what other better subject do I know about than me? And I just want to give you a bit of history about where I came from and how did I get to where I am. I live my life in so much joy today because of the choices I've made. But let's back up and look at little Paige, the one that back in the day, little girl growing up I'm here in Canada, and I was in the province of Alberta in Calgary. And my family, I was born into a family that belonged to a certain religious group. I call them a religious cult. And it was, we were not allowed to be involved with other people outside of our church. We only could socialize with our church. My mother and my father both came from large families, 8 children in each, both ironically. And what was quite interesting is 4 of the sisters married 4 of the brothers. And my mother was a twin. So 2 twins married brothers. So it's like, so all these intermingling. So we were called double cousins. It was kind of weird. And my cousins were my friends. And we were told who we could talk to, how we should dress, what we should dress, when we would eat, who would eat with us, when we could speak, what we read. We were not allowed television or radio because that would influence us too much. We would know what was going on. And oh, it's just crazy, crazy, crazy. But here's little Paige. And when I was a little one, I had cute blonde ringlets. And I didn't know that you didn't see what I saw. So I used to call them my imaginary friends. I didn't know that I was already tuned in and turned on. I didn't know that what I saw or heard, you didn't necessarily. You may have, but when you're little and your parents are thumping on the Bible and not other things, not anything wrong with the Bible, I'm not saying that, but that was their focus. And I'm over here going, Mom, can my friend, I had a name, I don't remember the name, but can my friend sit at the dinner table? So Mom would set a setting for my imaginary friend for dinner, because this is where my head was at the time. But then the preacher guy came over and had dinner with us, and he's like, what's that extra? Oh, that's for her imaginary friend. And he looks at me and he's like, who's your imaginary friend? I'm like, I don't know. She's there. And he's like, you have to stop that right now. That's against the Lord's way. I went, and my mom just went, oh my gosh. Oh, we'll stop that right away. Like my mom was very subservient because of this. It was a gong show. But what happened to me? I go into fear. I'm like, oh my God, I've disgraced. I'm not saying disgrace, but I'm a little one. And I'm like, I've done wrong. And so I'm in fear. And what happens? I shut everything down. Suddenly, my imaginary friend is not there because I've done against the Lord's way. And I'm in fear. And so I withdraw and I become even smaller. But through time, I don't know if you know this, but if you're tuned in and turned on, it's going to keep coming on. It eventually comes back. And now I am seeing again. I am hearing again. Hearing what the average person doesn't hear. And so one day I'm walking down my hall in my home, and I was doing something in particular, and I heard, that's not for you. And I went, whoa, what? And so I'm like, there's something. Then when I was a little bit older than little one, I was at my aunt's farm and I got into an accident on the farm. We were playing with the motorcycle and I hit the fence and got injured up and all of that. And so now I'm walking through the field and I keep hearing, keep going. The cow is standing there chewing his cud, and he says, keep walking to me. And I'm like, whoa, this is all crazy stuff that's going on for me. And I'm like, what the heck? But I don't know that this isn't unusual. I'm just like, why am I being told to walk because I'm injured? And so all of these things keep piling up. And one day I heard something and I said to my friend, did you hear that? And they're like, no. And I went, you didn't hear that? That's when it started cluing in on me that I was hearing what others weren't. And it wasn't until then that I started investigating, what am I hearing? What am I seeing? Because it's not the same. And one of the other skills that I have that I was born with, and everybody is born with this. Did you hear that? Everybody is born with it, is intuition. We have an intuition knowingness. It's called claircognizance. This is your knowing. This is, you just know what you know. You don't know how you know it. You just know it. And the best way to describe your knowingness, your claircognizance, is when you know something, you don't need the evidence to say, I know that, or it's this. Like you just come out with the answer. That's your intuitiveness. And I've been in business for over 25 years, and so many people are like, oh, but Paige, you're so good with your intuition. Well, yeah, because I use it. It's a muscle that you just have to use. That's all. And I know I make it sound simple, but it is. It really is. We just don't get in the habit. It's not a discipline that we use. See, if you started thinking to yourself, oh my gosh, what am I doing? How am I doing this? And all of those pieces, you would soon discover that you're using your intuition a lot more than you thought. A good example is when somebody says something to you. Let's say somebody invites you for dinner, okay? And so a friend phones you or texts you, however you get your messages, and says, hey, you want to come for dinner? And Fred and I are having a dinner party, and we'd love for you to come. And whether you're in a relationship or not, you decide, I'm going to go. And then you check in and you get a funny feeling. Like check in, you kind of go, should I go? And you get a, now this is where it plays a part. You get a feeling or something in your body tells you no. You might get a ping in your tummy. You might get something across your shoulders, down your back. Somehow your body talks to you and you go, oh, maybe I shouldn't. Oh, well, I really like that couple. I'm going to go. And you go anyways. And when you get there, it all's fine. And then it turns ugly because somebody decides to bring up something that they don't like to talk about or whatever transpires. And you're like, oh, not this again. And you leave early and you get home and you're like, oh, I knew I should have listened to myself. I knew that every time I go there, they always get into it and it's terrible and blah, blah, whatever goes on. That's where the intuition played a part, but you didn't listen to it. Key, you didn't listen to it. You don't have to listen to it. You can do whatever you want, but your body is always talking to you because as humans, we are born with this piece called free will. Yes, we have intuition. If we only had intuition and we didn't have free will, we would always make the right choice. But we have this thing called free will that it's basically our trump card to go, no, I just got an ugly feeling about going there, but I'm going anyways because I like them. And so we go and it's a gong show. And so pay attention to what your body is saying to you. How many times have you got chills up your spine or almost like somebody's tickling your tummy, like something is happening to your body? Or if you start rubbing your eyes, that's a clue too. What aren't you going to see? What are you going to see? Anything to do with eyes is about seeing. And it's either one or the other. Either you're going to see it or not see it. Your body is your vehicle to assist you. And intuition is born in you. Near your solar plexus is where the intuition resides. It's your second brain. It's where thought happens. It's kind of weird to think about it, but it's there. So what is another area for women where we do a lot of our thinking is how it feels to us. What is it that we like or don't like? Where does it register? Most people get it in the tummy area. It's they get what they call a gut feel. That's the best way of describing it. But this intuition is your radar. And I love what Tif said. She's brilliant. She don't you just love her? She's infectious. Like you just want to hang with her because she's always so bubbly and shiny and not shiny in a bad way, but you just want to be around her. And it's true what she's saying about those words, because as soon as you do this, you're telling your mind something different. Pay attention to that. If you're always focusing on what I'll call the not serving, or some people call it the negative, but I call it the not serving. Focus on the serving. When you're saying beautiful things, and you know this, when you're around a new baby and it's so cute, or little kittens or little puppies, and you're like, oh, and you're all feeling cuddly and warm, and that beautiful feeling is how you should be feeling all the time. And if you're not, what kind of environment are you creating for yourself to bring a not serving environment? And you may be sitting there going, oh, but Paige, you can't have puppy dogs and kitty cats all around all the time. And that's true. But you can hold the thought in your head that I choose to stay happy. This is part of what I teach in my 3-day called Journey to Happy, is how do you get back to the beautifulness? Because I've had quite the journey getting out of the muck. I didn't have a good upbringing. I wasn't a strong female. I was like my mother, subservient. And today I come across as being super confident and, oh, she looks like she knows what she's talking about. Yes, I do. I'm very, very confident. But I've also got a very soft side that I have to remind myself that I am this courageous, brave female that has come through the fire unscathed. And that's who you are too. You may be in a fire right now, but I want you to know you will come through it. You will. That is why you're here. See, when we come down, this is getting a bit woo, but a bit woo woo. But when we come and make the choice to come to earth, we are chosen to come down because we were chosen for our skill of being brave. We come down and we are born into the family we're born into. And you might say, why was I born into that family? And some people are like, oh, I had a beautiful childhood. And it's like the contrast is always there. And why is that? Because we are meant to see contrast. Because then we have a sense of measuring, if you want to call it. But you came into this world because you said, I can do that. I can have this human being life. We're all beings. Right now, we're a human being. And we talk to the other side, to other beings, to other entities. I just happen to talk to the angels. But think of this. If you had come down and had this experience of just living in Lotus Land, just everything was beautiful with the kittens and the puppies and ice cream cones and gluten-free and dairy-free and whatever makes your world go around so that it's all beautiful. If everything was just, oh, so wonderful, you would never know contrast. And there's some people that live like that. There's some people that live, like some people live in these houses that never go outside, and they have no idea what it's like out there. They have no idea what it's like to go in a park and see other people playing. They have no idea. But you were given this life. You made the choice to come here. It's up to you to make the best you can. Somewhere I got that memo because of the horrificness, the abuse, the abandonment, the beatings, the whatever I came through. I've had all that, and I had to come to this point. Now I get to live in my joy and happiness. This is where I choose to be. Happiness is a choice. Did you know that? Happiness is a choice. Nobody else can make you happy except yourself. I can have a room full of little puppies and kittens and watch them play. But if I'm sitting there going, I hate my life. Little kittens are peeing all over and dogs are pooping. That's very easy to switch and go there. But if I'm sitting there going, oh my God, they're so cute, the fluffiness, and when they almost teeter-totter when they walk, oh my gosh, that's so cute. That's a choice. That is a choice. So think of the people in your life. I'm not going to say it's you because no, you wouldn't be like that. Think of the other people in your life who are grumpy pants. And you're just like, come on, smile. And they're like, oh. No. They're choosing not to be happy because they're hanging on to their stuff of what was or what they think it will be. Instead of going, it's like taking off the veil and going, I deserve a happy life. Give it to me. Now, please understand, this does not come overnight. I get it. This is a journey. And like myself, it's been a while because I am stubborn and I like to learn things at my pace. That means slow. But I've had people go and just catapult through this, just shoot, shoot, shoot. And I'm like, whoa, how did that happen? But I would not have got any of this done if I did not have my connection to my team. As an angel channeler, this is something I went to school for. I now know that there are these other beings around me. Oops, I'm over time. Am I over time yet? Oh, shoot.
You're good. We're working on tech on the back end.
Okay. This is who I call in when I'm working with a client. I have learned who the 15 major archangels are and how can they assist me? How can they help me? And with that information, if I have a sore tummy or I'm not feeling healthy, I call in Archangel Raphael. He's our healer. If I'm a gardener and I want to go out and put in the spring bulbs or something like that, I'm going to ask Archangel Ariel to assist me. She's the one that can help the earth become richer and purify it and help bring in the right bugs to clear out the pesticides and all of the stuff that was in there before. These are the little bits that I help my clients with because I know how it helped me. I would not be in this joy and happiness if I did not have my team. I have asked Archangel Michael and Archangel Raphael to stay with me 24/7. You can do the same if you want. Michael's a good business good business angel. And I can tell you, this is what brings me joy and happiness. This is why I do what I do. My soul's purpose is to help serve others to get back to their joy and happiness. And I love when I'm working with a client. I will put in the chat my contact information with my email. Please send me an email, say I'd love to chat more, and we'll carry on the conversation. Awesome. Haley, thank you so much. This was such an honor. I'm sorry that I went over a minute or two.
Actually, it worked perfectly because we were having some fun in the background from the tech. So thank you for covering us while we were working underground. It always happens according to plan. It's a beautiful thing.
Right?
Thank you so much for being a speaker today and taking this opportunity and this time to be here with us and share your message. I love what you do. Thank you so much, Paige.
Oh, thank you. I'll put that in the chat.
And we'll be here, and I will post it all over the place. I'm a posting fool today. Well, and with that, I am going to copy that, and I'm going to put it in the comments where possible, and then I'm going to go manually do it for the rest. And I'm going to go ahead and swap out our speakers by the magic of the StreamYard. Thank you, Paige, and welcome Katherine Kim Mullen and Karine to our stage. And I am so excited to have you here. And Karine, how do we say your last name, or how do we say Karine's last name?
It's Ewert. Can you hear me? I'm having some technical issues on my end. I apologize.
I can hear you loud and clear.
And just before you leave, Haley, can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear. So I'm going to play musical chairs and pop you two up to the top. I will be here. But with that, I'm going to give you two the stage.
Thank you so much, Haley. Okay. Hi, Karine. We're not in the same place. So, I'm really excited to be here. Thank you, Women's Entrepreneur Network. And I'm really excited that my partner, Karine, can join me today. So thank you, Haley, and your big team that's working hard to receive us. And today, we want to share something that's really dear to my heart, and anybody that knows me looks, and dear to Karine. She'll get to show you why in a few minutes, but the power of knowledge. We are always feeding our minds. We're bombarded, really. If it's not in the educational institutions, it's like media, but there's always stuff coming in. The beauty that I find in books is that as we feed our mind, we get to apply what we're reading. So knowledge is really powerful when you understand how it applies to you. And and really for me today, personally, and what we speak of all the time, with Karine, is transporting what you feed your mind into physical form, which we're going to today cover some books and speak to that closely. So maybe, Karine, maybe you'll have something you'd like to say?
Yeah, I just wanted to speak a little bit to sort of our philosophy that all of your life, when you're trying to achieve emotional wealth, and we say that as defined by you, nobody can tell you what means wealthy and healthy to you. But we talk about how your spiritual wealth and your physical wealth and your mental wealth and your financial wealth and your social wealth, they all overlap and they all combine to help you create emotional wellness and emotional wealth. So that's our philosophy that we speak to all the time. And today we're speaking specifically to, we have a thing that we call our carrying bag. If you're going on a trip, what are you going to pack? And so these are sort of our top 3 books that mean so much to us. And before I get to mine, I'm going to throw it actually back to Katherine because to be perfectly frank, she has influenced my reading list so significantly. I should have bought shares in any of the book companies that I've been ordering from ever since I met Katherine. But she's got some good recommendations, and I'm going to jump in the middle. So take it away, Katherine.
Thank you, Karine. And I guess the 3 books we're going to speak to today, and really 3 key points in them, is Think and Grow Rich, dear to my heart. The Secret, Karine's going to speak to. And then I'm going to speak to another one. I want to surprise the last one because it's a surprise, but it's a great book. So I will surprise you on that one. Let's get Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, a true classic. It was written like 20 years of research in 1937 and published in 1937, right? So imagine he sold 70 million copies since then, and people are still using it. And then we talk about The Secret, which started, and Karine will speak more to it, 2006, and was a movie before it was a book. Now, that's interesting. And then, okay, I can't hold back. Fearless Marketing by our very own Haley Lynn Gray. And you know what? The founder of this community, she published it in 2018, created it to help business leaders through a step-by-step process to show them how to take their business from $0 to $350,000 to $1 million and then to 10 million. And you know what? Help us build our very own 8-figure business. That's what's available to you. I wish I found this book years ago, and I'll show you why in a few minutes. So we're going to jump on to Think and Grow Rich. Just in case you wonder how committed I am to that book, this was my version of the book, my first version. I read this. I was in my 20s. I love so much about this book, but mostly I love how it's so easy to apply. And I've been studying this book, for over 40 years. And I still read it today and get excited about a little nugget. It meant so much to me. And I remember when I picked it up, and I share this because we're talking about applying knowledge from books. The books that have made the biggest impact, sometimes I didn't catch them right away. I read this book and the print was small and I didn't get it. And it was so male focused that I hate to use this word, but I was stuck. It's like dead to what's coming next. Like, whoa, I can't get past the next word. And then when I got it and I picked it up, I got it. What that did for me is I created a book club that's free, that a few women join. It's not overpopulated, but what we do is we read and share our thoughts on it, because I will spend the rest of my life reading this book once a week. I read every day. Now, here are the 3 things I'd like to share about that book today that could make a difference for you. How you think. So the first thing is thoughts become things. Things are created twice, once in your mind and once in physical form. So whatever you're thinking right now is what your life's going to look like tomorrow. So thoughts become things. What are you thinking? We often put thoughts out. We put a goal out, which we'll talk to in a couple minutes. But then we contradict. Our thoughts start to worry about it. We start to give ourselves all the reasons it's not going to happen. If you are aware that your thoughts and your actions filled with emotion is going to give you exactly what you want in life, well, there's a nugget from that book. Let's look for the second one. And this one's really exciting because last night, Wednesday night, is book club for me. And we were in the room and we did chapter 2, Burn and Desire. So the starting point of all achievement and the first step towards riches. If you were looking at the book, my newer version, and you read it, on page 25, they refer to something that really created great conversation, which is willing to burn the ships. And people immediately say, burn the bridges, burn the ships, go all in. And they think that means quit their job, leave their husband or wife, change their life, burn the ships and start fresh. No, there's another version of that. You continue with the same job, doing a great job. You continue with your life, but your burn and desire, where you focus, your main focus, you burn the rest of the ideas and you focus on that one thing you want. And that's really what burn the ships might mean. It might mean just finding what you want and going all in. But really, burn and desire is a goal setting, an exercise in goal setting. I was fortunate enough, the advantage of the 63 years wisdom was I met Zig Ziglar. And I sat in the front room in a small venue where I learned goal setting from him. And I thought I learned from the best. That was strategy. Bob Proctor, I later learned, taught dreaming and what a real desire is. When you combine the two and develop something called vision mapping, the visual of the goal, with your goal card, you have it all. So your goal needs to be definite, is what they say. And the method by which desire for riches, and I'm reading exactly as it's had in the book, can be transmuted into its financial equivalent consists of 6 practical steps. On page 26 of the book, they're there. I don't want to take all my time on that, but it's the goal setting exercise. Make sure you have that. I think Haley was just doing a goal setting thing as well recently, but follow that up. My next point that I want to bring up, my third point from Think and Grow Rich, because I want to spend the whole time on this one beautiful book, is how to outwit the 6 ghosts of fear. And that's the closing chapter. So I started with the beginning and now I'm going to the end. Closing chapter, which suggests we find out how many are standing in our way. Because what does fear do? Stand in our way. So, they're hidden in our subconscious, and there's really 6 of them. And take the time to recognize them. So what are the fears? The fear of criticism. Ooh, that's a hard one for entrepreneurs. That's the one I want to focus on here. The fear of criticism. I'll type in the chat later, those 6 fears. I don't want to take your precious time or our bit of time together, but very important. And, poverty, criticism, ill health, loss of love of someone, old age, death. The one for entrepreneurs is criticism. We're so afraid of it. Sometimes it holds us back. Take risks, go forward. Karine, maybe you could speak to the secret a little bit.
I would love to. Thank you. And thank you to Haley and you guys, the entire community, for allowing me to be in my mobile office, as I like to call it. I also call it my moving buffet. So I'm wanting to speak a moment about The Secret by Rhonda, and I actually have to look to pronounce her name. I say it Burn all the time. It is Burn. Sometimes I say Bryn. I want to make sure I got it right. So this book was published in 2006. I had 4 children between 2001 and 2006. So this book actually came into my life right after I had 4 kids. So 50% of those kids I have twins, 50% of them are 18. They just turned 18. They're going to school in the fall. I'm telling you, or going to university in the fall. I'm telling you that story because I had this on my bedside table, where it always is, And one of my twins is going through a hard time. It's hard right now, being 18, trying to make life decisions when you are very, very young. Anyways, he looked at me and he said, "You know what, Mom? I need to read that again because I gave this to my kids pretty much the day they could read, or I read it to them when they were young." And I told him, I'm like, "You can't have it tonight because I need it for tomorrow. I'm doing something with Catherine. So, but I'm going to give it to him when I'm finished today." And the reason why I gave it to them or read to them when they were young is because this dialogue, this language was not a part of my upbringing. I did not realize that gratitude was a power. I wish I had known that when I was much younger. So it's really been influential in my life since I read it. It really spearheaded or jump-started my journey into personal development, recognizing that there are things that I can learn, tools for my toolbox, or as we say, things to pack in my carrying bag that I can take with me everywhere. And this is the one book that I will go back to every single time. Just a little fun side note. I'm not sure if you noticed Catherine's Think and Grow Rich book. Mine is a secret, even though I read it all the time. It is practically, you could borrow it and think you were getting it from the bookstore. But that just goes to show you, people read differently. They take things differently from what they read. As Catherine says, you can read something that from your favorite book and learn something new. So my recommendation, not a recommendation, sorry, I shouldn't say that. The one book that influenced me and has had a huge impact on my life and my children's lives is The Secret. And I could talk at length about it more, but I'm going to throw it back to Catherine because I know she has one more very important book to get to.
I'm really excited. I was fortunate enough to fly down to North Carolina, and I received Haley Gray's book. And I have to tell you, I'm going to buy a few of them on Amazon. And the reason I'm going to do that is for all my friends that are starting a business, already in business. So, sorry, Haley, if I'm embarrassing you. I'm pretty excited to share what I got from your book right here. Because if you're a startup with no knowledge, perfect, because this is going to give you a very simple way to get through it, to get your business and some tips. But if you're like, did that, done that, I've been in business 40 years. Like, come on, I know how to do all that stuff. I've set up businesses, more than one. I counsel businesses. I do commercial real estate and finance. Of course, I know business. I'm going to share some things I got from this. This is a great reminder. It actually inspired me to take action on several things, and I wanted to remind myself. So I'm going to say how I post in social media. I can speak. I can speak to business people. I can speak to women. Posting in social media. And I'm lucky because I have Kareen, who that's her background. But most people don't have a Kareen. And most people are on their own. And even no matter how much experience you have in business, like there's some great tips in here on how to do it. Simple. And it's like linked to the Facebook page to the group. Have a group, have a page, never link the two. Thank you, Haley. Selective with your clientele. I am so selective. You know what? I love people, but I'm a business snob. I do business with people that want and need what I'm offering. I select my clients, always have. I've been very reluctant online, struggling to get it going because I didn't want to be bombarded with a bunch of people that wouldn't benefit, or I was wrong for them, they were wrong for me. So thank you, Haley, for showing me how to do it online. And you know what? I give away the farm. So I really like what Haley reminds us. Give away free, give value. Don't give away the farm. And Kareen loves you for that because really that's something. So what does all that mean and the impact of it on your business? Well, I remember starting out, and here's the things I heard. Know your ICA. What the heck's an ICA? You better have SEO. What? CRM. What's happening with it? And other 3 letters? Or better yet, branding. Oh, you have to be branded. What the heck does that look like? Not my language, not my thing. 40 years counseling businesses, multi-million dollars. And you know what? Never heard of those things. Now here's the kicker, sales funnel. has Kareen joined on trying to get her online with this Kajabi. And not that I'm promoting any of them, there's plenty of them that are good, but trying to explain to her what a sales funnel is, I understood and I didn't. But Haley does a fabulous job. She says, basically, it's taken someone from awareness to interest to decision and then finally to action on page 114. 5 different kinds and easy to understand and do. Call to action, more specific you are with your requests, the more likely you are to get those requests filled and make that money. And client onboarding. You know what? We're sell, sell, sell. We deliver, deliver, deliver. What's between? Haley's book. So you know what? I need to say, like, build the systems as you go, but improve them as you grow. Come on, like advice, client service along the customers online. Customers can be served the same way. Client service is so important, networking and follow up. Haley, I mean, if you don't have her book, and I wasn't asked to do this because I was on Think and Grow Rich, but you know what? Thank you is what I would say. And any of you sitting there, you'll be glad to find it soon. And now, before I end, I'd say Sage Navigation, we already know, we've told you what it is. And today what we showed you was feed your mind, transport it into physical being. You know what? Remember, things are created twice. And at the end, you know what? Book talk, reading books. If you want to know more about it, you can find us. I'm going to put something in the link because we're allowed to, and I don't want to take any more of your time, but we're grateful to be here. Thank you.
That was amazing. Thank you all so much for being here, and thank you so much for your kind words. And, giving value back is something that I really aim to do to hopefully help at least one more business owner. Thank you for being here today. Thank you, Kareen. Thank you, Katherine. I am excited to have had you here, and blessings to both of you. And with that, we are going to play musical chairs again and welcome our next speaker to the stage. Welcome, Rita. I am so happy to have you here. And I think that this is going to be a wonderful next step, a wonderful next speaker. So I'm going to give you the stage and let you speak. So welcome.
Thank you so much, Haley, for the opportunity to share this afternoon. And hello to everyone who is listening in and watching. It's a pleasure to be here. Listen, so you may or may not be aware of this. And for those of you who are women, truly, I invite you to listen up. And for those of you who are men who are listening, I invite you to listen up on behalf of the women in your lives. 97% of women will at some point in time be solely responsible for their personal finances. Yet only 79% of women are ready to do so. 50% of marriages end in divorce. And as a result of that divorce, we find that women's standard of living drops by as much as 73%. This next stat that I'm going to share with you really gets to my heart every time. 87% of poverty-stricken elderly, of our poverty-stricken elderly, are women. So, for those of you whom I've never met, my name is Rita Stewart, and I am a licensed financial professional. And my heart just goes out as it relates to women around their personal finances, and those stats alone, speak to that. And I do this work through, of course, workshops and speaking, and also one-to-one over a cup of tea. I love a cup of tea. So now you know a little bit about me, myself. Now, one of the things that I want to share is the fact that there are 3 stages of your financial trajectory, or 3 stages of your financial life. That's what I'm going to talk about this afternoon. Sort of like you talk about the stages of life of a butterfly or animals and things like that, stages of life of humans. I'm going to talk about 3 areas or 3 stages of life as it relates to your personal finances. And it's important that we have this conversation because more times than not, we tend to want to avoid the conversation around money. And I wish that weren't the case, but unfortunately, it really is. Now, before I go there, I want to say again, my heart is around coming alongside women to help them come to understand and know their personal financial power. And I also come alongside a few men, of course, as well as small business owners. But the goal is there is a need to ensure that women understand their personal financial power. And this is just a great audience because many of us are independent business women, and that gives us all the more reason to ensure that we're at that place. So now let's get to these 3 stages. The 3 stages, I'm going to tell you what they are first, and then I'll walk back through them. So the first one is your accumulate. No, that's not the first one. The first one is your protection, your foundation. So if you think about a pyramid, so the first stage would be protection or your foundation. The second stage would be accumulation. And then the third stage would be that of distribution. So protection, accumulation, and distribution. Those are 3 stages of money that I want you to take note of. And now I'm going to walk you through some things that you need to think about as it relates to those 3 stages. So we know that when we're building a house, we talk about the foundation, right? The foundation makes the home secure and helps it to last, throughout our time living there and for other people to come who may live in that home. So with ensuring that you set a firm foundation, you want to ensure that you do or put in place what's necessary for protection for your life, for protection for your business, right? And for protection for your money. And one of the ways I think that many of us don't even realize why we put certain things in place is through the lenses of insurances, okay? I mean, we protect our auto, we protect our home, we protect cell phones, right, through insurances. But there's an opportunity for us as women and as individuals, small business owners, to ensure that we protect our money, to ensure that we protect our life, and to ensure that we protect our businesses. And again, one of the ways that we can go about doing that, so I implore you to do some research with whomever you come alongside with for your insurances, to talk to them about ways to be able to protect your foundational things for the near future and for the long term, okay? And also be sure to push for clarity around those specific areas. And I'm going to stick out, I'm going to share a buzzword. I want to share the buzzword living benefits as an FYI. So as you're having the conversation with whomever you come alongside with as it relates to supporting you with protecting what you have, your life, your business, and your money, make sure you put out there the notion of living benefits and what impact that could have on what you have, okay? The rest, they should fully understand, right? And understand too that not all insurances are created equal and not all living benefits are opportunities are created equal as well. Life insurance is not just about death insurance anymore. It has evolved tremendously. So do your due diligence and ask the questions to make sure that you yourself are protected well now while you're living, and that your loved ones will be protected later, okay? So that's the protection. That's the first level. Now, the second level that I want to talk to you in this stage is that of accumulation. And when we think about accumulation as it relates to our monies, we want to think about the opportunities where we can go about accumulating as much money as possible with minimal tax implications. Listen, did you know that we only receive 58% of every dollar that we earn? If you look at all of the taxes that are taken out for different reasons, whether it be for Social Security, whether it be for the federal government, whether it be for your state, depending on what state you live in. But on average, we only receive 58% on the dollar. And understand and know the wealthy are very aware of this, and they have learned to leverage different solutions that can help them not have to pay as much in taxes legally now, hear me, on the money that they earn. But there are ways, there are solutions out there that can support you with ensuring that you can minimize your tax implications as you are accumulating money for the long term. So there are things out there like tax-free retirement plans. There are things out there that helps you be positioned to defer taxes that you are that you would be liable for as you are earning monies. Okay. Now there are some solutions, believe this or not, that exist that allow you to defer taxes while your money is growing, while your money is accumulating, as well as you can be able to have access to these money, to the monies tax-free. But you have to ask the right questions. You have to do your due diligence, and you need to be probing your particular person who comes alongside you from a financial perspective. And understand this too. Some people tend to rely on their financial advisor and their financial advisor alone. There is nothing wrong with that. And many financial advisors, when you hear me reference financial advisors, are those who are licensed to support you with your investing in the market. But there are also other financial professionals who can come alongside you to support you with leveraging, being able to accumulate your funds in a tax-free, quote unquote, way, and with a risk-free way, meaning outside of the market. There's nothing wrong with the market. So don't have any aversion to the market, but it's an opportunity for you to get to a place where you're truly diversifying some of your funds in the market and some of your funds outside of the market that still has a pretty nice growth trajectory. And hear me, there are solutions that are available within the financial services arena where you have the opportunity to leverage what is termed as an index account. And with an index account is based on the S&P 500 itself, the index, not within the market as it relates to the S&P 500, but an index that tracks along with the S&P 500, that as the market is growing up, your earnings are going up, the market is going up, your earnings are going up. However, when the market drops, your money locks in like a ratchet. You heard of one of those tools called a ratchet? It locks in, okay? You don't lose any of the principal you put in, and you don't lose any of the earnings that you've gained. As the market goes up, your money continues to grow. You can be positioned to not have to deal with the losses of the market. Now, again, diversification. Sure, have some of your funds in the market, but there's an opportunity to have some of your funds positioned in entities that will minimize your loss, minimize your risk, and also minimize your tax implications. So come alongside with your advisor, but also I would implore you to come alongside with the person who you tend to work with from your insurance's perspective. Understand and know that the wealthy are well aware, and I've said this before, of some of these solutions that are available. But many of us in Middle America tend not to be aware of it. And that is what I am proclaiming that I will be doing for the rest of my days, to ensure that I have an opportunity to come alongside and educate individuals on these other solutions that are available. Because I know that when I learned about them, it changed my life. I refer to it as restoration. Okay, so we've talked about protection and understanding and know that there are solutions out there that can support you with protecting your life, your money, and your business. Okay, so check on that. Second stage is accumulation. There are financial solutions out there, ladies and gentlemen, those are here, that can support you from a tax advantage perspective, and also from a minimal risk or loss in the market. Again, I don't have any adversity towards the market. I just strongly suggest you consider other options that allow you to say, I know that I know what's happening with these funds over here, and come heck or high water, they're going to be there for me. And I can continue to leverage the market as well as I can. And I think that this is more important, or becomes more so important, once you reach the age of 50, 60, etc., where you don't want to be as concerned about the ebbs and flows of the market. You need to know that you don't have to worry about trying to regain your losses. I had a gentleman who came to me not long ago. He's a young man, but he works with some more seasoned people, I should say, who thought they will be retiring in 2023. And of course, we know, we've had some major adjustments in the market this past year. And as a result of it, these men sitting at the lunch table said, man, I'm sitting on $1 million, but I just lost, 300,000. So I thought I was going to be able to retire next year, and I'm not going to be able to do so. And the young man called me. He says, my mother has been telling me to talk to you. And he says, Mrs. Stewart, I do not want to be sitting at the lunch table when I'm 60 years old or 62 years old and thinking I can retire, but yet I can't because I just had a major loss in the market. So I'm saying there's an opportunity for you to figure out or come to understand and know that there are other solutions that you can have come alongside what you're already have invested in the market for your long-term trajectory. Okay. Now, the third area that I wanted to talk to you about in terms of the 3 stages of money is that of distribution. One of the things that's most important to all of us, particularly those of us who are entrepreneurs, is to ensure that we have enough money that will last us the rest of the days of our lives. That's important to us, right? And for me, one of the other things that's important to me is I don't want to become a burden. We have one daughter. I don't want to become a burden to my child. And no one wants to become a burden to anyone for that matter. So the other opportunity for us to understand is if we have our monies in our 401k plans and we are managing to them ourselves, then the likelihood of us being able to ensure that we manage to those funds for the rest of our days is pretty much null. On average, we find that when people manage to their 401ks themselves independently, that money lasts them about 7 years. I had a young woman call me, or a lady call me not long ago, and she wanted to talk to me about the fact that she was laid off. She got her severance package. And as a result of what she had decided to receive for her disbursement, she based it on what she was making in her income. And I thought, oh my goodness, you're going to run out of money. That's not feasible. There are solutions, ladies and gentlemen, that are available to us in the financial services industry that we can park some of our money in and have it set up such that the monies will be distributed to us for the rest of our days. These monies can also grow tax deferred. However, you would pay taxes on the distribution of them when you're ready to take the funds out. But the goal here, the key is these particular solutions, and I'm speaking directly about annuities in this case. All annuities are not created equal as well. So you need to be aware of that. There's a stigma around them. But trust me, I've witnessed this as I have managed to the estate of my father. I've witnessed this as I've managed to the estate of my grandfather. And I witness this as I come alongside people today. That annuities can help you such that when you get ready for the distribution of your funds, you can position it so that you know that that money is guaranteed to last you the rest of your days. And should you pass away, let's say you were thinking I'm planning a trajectory of 20 more years and you pass away within 10 years, your family would be the beneficiary of your annuities. And I'm stressing these things because there are some solutions out there in the past that wasn't always the case. So 3 things. Think about your financials from a protection standpoint, an accumulation standpoint, and then the distribution, and ensure that your money lasts you all the days of your life. So not long ago, someone asked me, actually my mentor asked me, Rita, why do you do this? Why are you so passionate about this? And there's 3 reasons why I'm so passionate about it. One is I get phone calls way too often about women who are experiencing financial abuse. It's real. Okay. So I want to come alongside women, as I said, to support them in understanding and knowing and how to execute their personal financial power. The second reason why I do this is because many women tend to be the nurturers. Many women tend to have a gap in their careers, right? A lot of reasons why some of us are entrepreneurs. And as a result of that, we haven't had an opportunity to put away as much money towards our long-term goals. And we need to be more diligent about that. And I want to help women see that they can get that done. And then the third reason, and this one hurts to even speak to it, is the fact that the notion of domestic abuse. Many women stay because they can't get out because they're trapped from a financial perspective. And where I can come alongside someone, a woman, and teach them to do better with that, and to learn to do better with their money and how they can go about making money, et cetera, and how they can be putting their money aside and how they can position themselves and their children such that they will be okay financially, because it can be done, then I'm going to continue to do that work. So I want to thank you so much, Haley, for the opportunity to share this afternoon with the ladies and or everyone. And I pray that you found a tip or a nugget that will be helpful for you. Thank you, Haley.
Thank you, Rita. How would somebody go about getting in touch with you?
Okay, so for me, you can find me on Instagram at Money Matters and Tea. I love tea, so that's my handle there. And then RitaStewart.com. And then under the tab Legacy Financial Wellness. That's how they can find me. Thank you, awesome. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you so much, Rita.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. See you soon. Bye-bye. And with that, we are on to our next amazing, transformative speaker. Welcome, Eldonna Fernandez. I am so excited to have you here with us today on today's WEN-Talk. I can't wait.
I'm excited to be here.
Thank you. And here's the stage for you.
All right. Thank you. Hey, thanks everybody for tuning in. And I'll give you a little background about me. I'm going to teach you a little bit today about how to think like a negotiator. I think we'll cover 5 strategies, but I always weave some other ones in. I'm a retired Air Force Master Sergeant. I was in the military for 23 years as a contract specialist, manager, and negotiator, and worked for defense contractors. As a matter of fact, I'm working as well now for a defense contractor, doing contracts, subcontracts management, contracts negotiation, teaching negotiation. And I love to train and help people become better negotiators. I also work with women in Kenya in poverty with my Baskets and Beads project to help them to create micro enterprises and go from poverty to prosperity. All right, let's talk about negotiation. Salary.com did a survey in the early 2000s, I think, maybe around 2010, and found out that out of everybody that they surveyed, they surveyed 2,000 people, 87% of those that they surveyed said that they were fearful or hesitant for negotiation. So that means a large amount of people fear negotiation. And what I found in training on negotiation, speaking on negotiation, doing negotiation, helping other people in their negotiations is that people may not know how to go about it. So what I'm going to share with you today, I hope will help you. I know will help you create a better strategy for negotiation, not only in business, but in everyday life, in your personal life. And even if you have children, I always say negotiation happens whether you're negotiating a multi-million-dollar deal, how to get your kids to do their homework, or where to meet for dinner. And when you think like a negotiator, you want your outcomes to create win-win results. What does that mean, actually? Well, what that means is you're going to give up something in the negotiation. I'm going to give up something in the negotiation. And as long as at the end of the agreement, when we shake hands and ink the deal, make sure you get it in writing that you both are satisfied with the outcome, that is a win-win result. And that's what you want to create in your negotiation. And I will just make a little comment about Rita, the last speaker. Rita, I love tea. Also, I'm a tea fanatic. I have all different kinds of tea. And as a matter of fact, I live in Southern California in Irvine and Orange County. And for us, it's freezing here. Okay. It's been in the 40s in the morning. Now, I know some people who are listening are thinking, oh my gosh, that's light jacket weather. But for us here in California, that's parka weather, gloves and hats and scarves. And we had a lot of rain, which doesn't usually happen either. And then it's turned cold. And I'm really enjoying my tea. All right, let's jump into negotiation. I often get asked about what's the first thing you need to do to prepare for a negotiation? Well, the first thing that you need to do, the first thing that I need to do is own my power. Say that out loud. Own my power. And that's not really a buzzword, although it's, or a buzz phrase. It sounds like a buzz phrase, maybe. Oh, my power. What exactly does that mean? Well, what that means is you have to stand in your power. And I liked earlier what Kareen was saying about gratitude is power. That's a good way to start out, is to be grateful for where you are. But also you need to prepare, and we're going to talk about that in a minute, that you are standing in the power position, both mentally and in your backup data, because if you're not, the other side will see it, sense it, and take advantage of it. And you don't want that. You want to be in the power position, showing up where the other side is like, oh, okay, this person's prepared. They know what they're talking about. I'm not going to basically steamroller that person. I've had people attempt to do that to me, especially in the military, which was interesting. I have plenty of stories of how people thought they were going to steamroller me because I was this tiny military person, but I was a master sergeant, and I walked and talked the talk, and I knew my stuff, and people didn't push me around. But that's something where you need to start. You need to start with confidence in your position. Well, how do you do that? Well, that's our next strategy number 2, which is to prepare in advance. Prepare in advance. The time to prepare for the negotiation is not when you are standing face to face with somebody on the phone, on a video call, or your last email. You have to prepare in advance. And that means before you even start to think about the negotiation. Maybe you've received an offer. Now, if it may be a contract or a service request or an offer to do something, it's simply an offer. You can either reject it, accept it, or make a counteroffer. During the preparation phase is where you decide where your walk away point will be and whether or not you're going to walk away. For instance, I'm in my temporary studio. You see some beads behind me. I'm doing a live tonight. So I have my temporary studio set up and ready to go for that, for my baskets and beads project. And it's interesting because I'm in my home office. If I close this, you'd see my living room. You might hear my dog bark if somebody walks by and breathes close to my place. I have a Belgian Malinois Shepherd, and she lets me know when somebody's out there. Great protection mechanism, but not so great for doing video. Well, because I have made some goals at the end of the year of what I wanted to do to move that business forward, I made a decision first of all, I made a decision what my word was for the year, which some people may choose a word. My word is risk. And part of that risk is stepping out in faith and taking a risk to take a step to move the business forward out of the hobby level. We were starting to get there prior to COVID, and then COVID caused some issues like it did for everybody. But in doing that, I have a warehouse where my products are, and I decided I wanted to move into an office space where I could set up a studio like this and do my trainings if I had any trainings to do, or do my lives where I didn't have to set up and break down when I'm doing this. I do my Swahili Sunday that I do on Sunday. I do it on the couch because it's more of a relaxed environment, but I need a studio and a space to set up for an actual shipping location. And I was looking around. Now like I said, I'm in Orange County, California. Everything here is expensive. And I had a budget of what I wanted. The storage where I have things has gone up 20% again. I haven't even been in there 2 years. It's gone up 40%. And I thought, this is ridiculous. And I have another storage where my negotiation training materials and things are. And I thought, combining those, I could go a little bit higher. And I started looking, and I found a place. And then come to find out, they had a place that had a warehouse attached to it, which was a little bit more money. But everything else I found around other than that was a whole lot more. I've looked and looked and looked. There are not many. I need something on the ground floor because of the fact I do pop-up events, and I need to be able to go in and out. There's a lot of office space on 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 8th floors. Can't do that. That won't work. So that limited me. And I found a space, and I got the offer, and I made a decision because of everything I've looked at, I made a decision prior to going into the negotiation and making my counteroffer that I was not going to walk away from this. I did some research. I talked to a couple of the other tenants. They were saying the same thing. It's the best deal in town for what the space is. Probably won't find a better deal. And I actually verified the facts on that, which is another strategy, verify the facts. And I found that to be true. Now, I could have maybe gone 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour. But if you live in the Southern California area, you have to determine how you're going to get places by how long it takes you in traffic. And I didn't need to have a possibility where traffic could take me an hour to get to and from. I needed it someplace close. So I was limited to my resources. Got the offer, made a counter offer. I counter offered on the rent. I counter offered on the cost of the sign. I counter offered that they put in an air conditioning unit. And they came back with, no, rent is this. We're not cutting you any slack on the sign, and we're not installing an air conditioner unit. What we're going to do is give you some carpet and paint the building. And I thought, the carpet's trashed and the thing needs to be painted anyway. You're going to take that out of the deposit of the last tenant. I wasn't born yesterday. I was born, but not yesterday. And I attempted to go back and forth, but it was going through a management company. I think if I might have been able to see them face to face, I might have had a different outcome, but they were hard over. And I had the choice. Was I going to walk away or was I going to take it? Well, I had made the decision prior to that I was not going to walk away from it, even if they didn't budge. I was a little upset that they didn't budge because I'm a negotiator and I like to get something at least for my negotiation effort. But I didn't get anything. I got the place, and I'm happy that I got the place, and I had to accept it and go forward with that. But the important part about that is, why do you have to prepare in advance? You have to prepare in advance because you have that negotiation with yourself where the walk away point is. You know where you're going to walk away, how far you're willing to go to not get yourself in trouble. You don't want to get into the negotiation, get in an emotional state and be like, oh, I really want this, and agree to something that you're not going to be able to get out of, or you're not going to be able to handle. That's why you make the preparation when you're not in an emotional state. Another negotiation strategy is leave emotion out. That's why you do it during the preparation phase. You have that negotiation with yourself. You prepare in advance. When you go into the negotiation, you know what things you're willing to give and what things you're not willing to give. I was willing to go at it anyway. I made an advance, and because rents, there's not a lot of empty space around right now, other than in the storage. Everybody's leaving that because it's so much money. But so I didn't have a lot of leverage. I tried to leverage my veteran status. They didn't care about that. So it was accept it or reject it and walk away. And I decided to accept it. So we'll be moving into, just got the lease actually yesterday. I have to review that and make sure that everything that they've agreed to is in there, including the fact that they have internet is included with it, which is good. And obviously it's got electricity and such. I can set up a big shipping area and I'll be able to handle all that. And I'll be able to do my lives from a regular studio versus the in-home studio. The in-home studio is fine I do a lot of trainings. I have a contract with Southern California Edison, the utility here in Southern California, and I do a lot of trainings on negotiation and effective communication for them. It's fine, but when I'm doing the other things I'm doing, I need an actual studio. So I'm looking forward to having that, having a showroom, having a place to set up shipping, to get more wholesale customers. It's something that's going to move my business forward. So prepare in advance. That's a very important strategy that you need to consider. Next thing I want to share with you is the importance of building relationships first. Build relationships first. And we hear this a lot. We're in a relationship economy. A good friend of mine, Glenn Morshower, I took some acting classes from to get better at speaking many years ago. He says relationships are the most spendable economy in the world, the most spendable capital in the world. Relationships are the most spendable capital in the world. If you have good relationships that you have cultivated with people, you can definitely go far with that. And take the time to actually build connections. It's very hard these days. A lot of it's a numbers game, and people I don't know about you, but I get almost everybody that connects with me on LinkedIn goes right to a pitch. Oh, I saw one line in your profile and you'd be perfect for this. And I love I had somebody who said, oh, I've been watching your content. I really like to connect. I verified it was a real person because there's a lot of those who are fakes. So it was a real person. Connected with them. They said, oh, I think you'd be perfect for our group. okay, we haven't even had a conversation. Now you're pitching me to go to your group. And I looked at the group, and it was about people who are living a very unhealthy lifestyle and need to lose weight. And I'm like, okay, maybe I could lose 5 pounds, but yeah, not sure about that. I also had a guy one time ask me if I wanted to lose 2 belt sizes. If I lost 2 belt sizes, I would probably look like a pencil. That you have to consider your market and actually reach out and connect with somebody. And it's hard to meet in person, especially if you're in a different location, but do something like this. Get on a video call and connect with them and actually have a conversation to find out if they are your target market. Nobody likes to be pitched to anymore. We would like to actually, if I'm going to purchase something from somebody, I will ask other people for a trusted referral. I'm not going to buy something off of somebody that got my email address and added me to an email list and is pitching me on a product or service. If I'm looking for a product or service, I'm going to ask one of my trusted business colleagues, who do you use for this? Who do you use for that? Or I see you're friends with this person. Would you recommend them for business, or would you recommend them for this? That's the best way to connect with somebody that you already have a relationship with. So if you want to do business and build that know, like, and trust factor, it's very important to build relationships first. Our next strategy is probably the foundational principle of how to think like a negotiator. Ask for exactly what I want. Ask for exactly what I want. Also known as get your ask in gear. You're not going to get what you don't ask for. And that's where people have their fear of negotiation. They don't ask. Wayne Gretzky said, you're going to miss 100% of the shots that you do not take. Take the risk. Take the shot at asking for what you want. All they can say is no. Rejection's never personal. That's why people don't ask, because they're afraid of the no, but rejection's never personal. It's not about you. It's more about them. They may need more information. They may need more time, or the answer may actually be no, but you don't know unless you ask. You're not going to know unless you ask. I'll share a quick story with you about how asking changed the entire trajectory of my life. I went on a mission trip with a group in 2018 called Reaching Beyond Ourselves to Kenya. I had met the founder at one of the events where I was speaking, and he and I shared, and he'd been going to Kenya for over 20 years. And I felt this pull to go to Kenya. Well, at that time, didn't have a lot of income. And I thought, okay, I'm going to do a GoFundMe type thing and raise some funds. And I told my veterans group at church, and I asked one person, and they gave me a donation. And then I got the think like a negotiator queen, got in fear of asking, and I did not ask. And the people planning the trip needed my funds to book the accommodation. And I said, I'm probably not going to go. I haven't raised enough money. And they told me to have faith. It'll work out. And right after that, the person who made the initial donation, and the only donation, called and said, Eldonna, I'm going to help you raise the funds to go on this trip. When I hung up the phone, I thought, I'm going to get my own ask in gear and ask for exactly what I want now. I made a commitment to reach out to 5 people a day and ask for $20. First person donated $200. Before I knew it, I had more than enough money, so much so that I filled a duffel bag full of socks and underwear for kids in Kenya. Made the trip to Kenya. It was a wonderful experience. One of the last places we visited was the Kipsongo slum, where these ladies were making paper bead jewelry. And one of them gave me a necklace, much like the one I'm wearing, and asked for sponsorship for her son to go to school. Woke up in the middle of the night after meeting them and had found out on the way back that they were starting to work little micro enterprises, and had this God-inspired idea to buy some beads and sell them with my book when I was speaking. Brought back half a suitcase of beads And that was in February 2018, spoke at an International Women's Day event, sold out, doubled the orders, sold out, tripled the orders, sold out, and then went on more trips and more suitcases came back. I've been to Kenya 7 times. We went from 5 to 30 women, and now I have a warehouse full of products. We actually have a tailoring group within our group. A lot of these women have left prostitution. Now we have another group of women we're working with and starting a farm, and it's growing, and who knows where it'll go from here. Heading back to Kenya in May, June this year. What if I wouldn't have asked? Those women would still be prostituting themselves, and many of them were picking food scraps from a dumpster or selling illegal alcohol. If I hadn't have asked, these women would not have the opportunity to change their lives. My question to you is, what opportunities are you missing because you're not asking for exactly what you want? On the other side of fear is the opportunity to change lives. Not only will you change the lives of those that you're serving, you'll also change your own life. So get your ask in gear and ask for exactly what you want now. And I'm coming close to the end of my time, and my last strategy is to stop talking. You hear that uncomfortable silence? If you can get comfortable with the discomfort of silence, it is one of the most powerful and effective tools you can use in negotiation. If you really want to own your power, learn how to leverage the power of the pause. Today, I've shared with you several strategies that will help you not only be a better negotiator in business, but in your day-to-day life. I suggest you take these strategies. I hope you took copious notes and that you apply them going forward in business. Make sure that you own your power, that you prepare in advance and build relationships first, ask for exactly what you want, and stop talking. And with that, I'll now stop talking and remind you to keep thinking like a negotiator.
That is an awesome topic. Thank you for your talk, and start thinking like a negotiator. How does somebody go about getting in touch with you, Eldonna?
You can find me on Facebook. Eldonna Fernandez is my Facebook profile. I'm available. My speaker website is eldonnafernandez.com. My Baskets and Beads website is basketsandbeadskenya.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much for
Thanks for having
being
me
here and being a part of this wonderful event today. Thank you.
Awesome sauce.
Thank you. And with that, we are going to invite our last speaker of the day, the truly incomparable Brian K. McNeil. Welcome, Brian, to the stage. I am so excited to have you here today with us.
Haley, thank you very much. I am honored as well. I started my timer because I'm not going to go over. I'm going to be respectful to the time. But I will say this. My name is still Brian K. McNeil. I'm the sales confidence coach. And everyone who watches this segment will be better at selling themselves and their services at the end of my talk than they were from the beginning of my talk. And this is not what I hope to accomplish, it's what I know will be true. Every single one of you that watches this talk will become better at selling themselves and their services, and you all are going to be much more profitable starting now. Now, I've got 19 minutes left to go, so I'm going to get right into it. Now, when I talk to an audience or get a new client, one of the first things I do is I have them take out a sheet of paper and number from 1 to 10, skipping a line between each number, and I have my timer set for 3 minutes. And I say, when I say go, and you can do it, we're not going to do it now in the interest of time, but when I say go, I'm going to want you to write down 10 great reasons why someone should hire you and your services. 10 great reasons why someone should be willing to give money in exchange for what you're offering. 10 great reasons why someone should work with you. Go. I say go, and I keep talking to them while they're working. And I know I'm distracting them on purpose. I'm saying things like, so, how long you been in business? What do you like about what you do? And they're going. Now, very often, whether it's a room of one person or 100 people or 1,000 people, very often when the 3 minutes is up and I'm preaching to them, it's very important that you finish this within 3 minutes. If I gave you all day, you can come up with 35 or 45 reasons why someone should work with you, but I'm only giving you 3 minutes and I want you to come up with 10. I'm even saying to them, if you can't come up with 10 great reasons why someone should work with you and your services within 3 minutes time, that means you either have forgotten some of your benefits or you don't know enough to be profitable. And I know that you do know enough to be profitable. So let me tell you, invariably, when the list and time is up and they start reading out their list, and maybe some of you guys will have similar answers. Why should anybody be willing to work with you? Why should anybody be willing to hire you and your services? You'll get answers like, because I'm hardworking, because I'm honest, because I'm passionate, because I love people, because I'm available to them, because I'm certified, I have a degree, because I've been doing this for a long time, because I'm really, really skilled at it, because all those things are great. Because I love helping people, because I really, really do care about the results. All those things are great. And none of them are a reason to give you money. All of those are reasons to make someone like you or respect you or even admire you. But that's not a reason to give you money. That's not a reason to hire you. All of those great things, I'm doing this for 20 years, great. If you cannot articulate why that's a benefit to the person that you're telling that to, it's not a reason to give you money. It's just something to like about you. That's it. I'm going to kill some old saws today, but I'm going to tell you why people will hire you, why they will give you money. That's what I came here today. I'm going to give you the 7 reasons why they will hire you. Now, if you're one of these people who wrote down all those things I said, because you're hard working, experienced, and care and love and available and all that kind of stuff, you're fun, you're funny. Those are all things that make people like you, but not give you money. Here's why they will give you money. Write it down. The first one is the word. And these are the 7 things that people historically and enthusiastically want to give their money in order to get. Okay? History shows us this. These are the things they want to invest their money in. Number 1 is time. T-I-M-E, time. Is there any part of your services that will help your clients to save some time? Are there any results that they'll be able to achieve faster as a result of working with you than they would have if they didn't want to work, if they didn't work with you? If there's any way you help a client when it comes to time, that is a good reason to hire you, and you should talk about that. That's a good reason to give you money. Talk about time. If you let me help you, you'll be able to achieve this result much faster than you would have without my help. If that's a true statement, if you can verify it, that's a reason to give you money. Number 1 is time. Think about that for your business. Are there any results that you help them achieve faster? Or is there any way you save them some time? That's number 1. Number 2 is the word money. M-O-N-E-Y, money. Now, this happens in a few ways. People want to give their money to the person or the thing. The person or the thing that they believe will help them to either save some money or earn more money or both. Does your services help your clients to either save some money, earn more money, or both? If your services does help them to save some money or earn more money or both, you should articulate how so, because that's a good reason to hire you. And for most of you, your services will help your clients when it comes to money if you just get a little bit creative. It's a little bit creative. Does your services help your clients to either save some money or earn more money or both? Talk about that. They can love you and never hire you. But if you help them to earn more money or save some money, that's a reason to work with you. Amen and amen. Amen means you heard, understand, and agree. Amen. Okay. Now, time, money, good feelings. Now, the third one is good feelings. Good feelings. Good feelings. People want to give their money to the person or the thing that they believe will help them to either feel better about themselves or help them to imagine others having a higher opinion of them, or both. Does your services help your clients to feel better about themselves now Or can you help them to imagine others having a higher opinion of them because of your services, or both? Or both. For example, a man buying a financial plan for his family. He did that because he believes that as the head of the household, this is a responsible thing for me to do, and I feel good about myself for doing it. And he can also imagine his wife and children appreciating what dad did for them, even when he's gone. The 60-year-old man buying the red convertible sports car bought that car because he believes when he drives that car, he's going to look cool in it. And he also thinks that when you see him, you're going to agree with his opinion that, yes, he looks cool in it. He didn't buy it because it had good brakes. He bought it because he feels like he's going to look good in it. Is there any part of your services that will help your clients to feel better about themselves now? Or can you help them to imagine others having a higher opinion of them, or both? Get a little bit creative, and I can help you with it if you can't do it on your own, okay? Or maybe some partner with someone. Time, money, good feelings. The fourth reason why people historically and enthusiastically will give money in exchange for a service is solutions to a problem. Now, when I say solutions to a problem, I'm talking about the big and obvious problem that is solved by you and your services. What is the big and obvious problems? For very many entrepreneurs, they solve lots of problems, but they are not interested in lots of problems. The big and obvious one. Can you clearly articulate what is the big and obvious problem that is solved by you and your services? That's the one that works, okay? If I keep talking about I can solve this problem, that problem, that problem, that problem, the more problems you espouse that you solve, the less interesting you become. But if you can be known for solving one big, one obvious problem that is solved by you and your services, that's a reason to give you money. That's a reason to hire you. I'm giving you the 7 reasons why people historically and enthusiastically will give money in exchange for services. Number 1 was time. 2 was money. Number 3 was good feelings. Number 4 was solutions to a problem. Number 5 is good health. Good health. Is there any way that you and your services will improve your client's health? Put a little thought to this here. Now, if you're in the fitness industry or health and wellness industry, it's obvious how you improve their health. But what if you're a coach or a consultant or financial planner? Is there any way that you improve their health? There is. One of the ways that you improve their health is you can take away some of their worries. You can take away some of their stressors. If you have a service that removes some of your clients' worries, that takes away some of their stress, you should talk about that, because that is a good reason to hire you and your services. Now, I said when I first started talking, everyone that watches this talk is going to be better at selling themselves and their services than they were before I started talking. I've given you 5 of the reasons why people will give you money. And I have talked about so far all those other things that people think why someone would hire you. Because I'm good at it, because I'm hardworking, because I have a degree, because I'm respectful, because I'm available, because I'm fun, because I'm funny, because I'm experienced, because all those things make people like you, but not give you money. They will like you for a long time. They will save a seat for you at the cookout. They will speak well of you even when you're not there, but still not work with you. Time, money, good feelings, solutions to a problem, good health. The 6th out of the 7 is the word children. Children. Is there any way that you and your services help your clients when it comes to their children? Now, you don't need all 7. You only need 1. But as many of them as you can get, the better. How do you help them when it comes to their children? Do your services help your clients to become better role models for children, or more available to their children, or help their children in another way? If that is so, if it's true, you should talk about that. Time, money, good feelings, solutions to a problem, good health, children. And the last one of the 7 things that people in this country typically and historically want to spend their money on, these things that they want to invest in, is the word pets. P-E-T-S, pets, pets, pets. Dogs, cats, we want to spend money on our pets in this country. Yes, we do. We want to spend our money. You do not have to have all 7. But if your services helps your clients in some way when it comes to them and their pets, you should talk about that too. Now, I've said of the 7 reasons why people historically and enthusiastically want to invest money into a services, none of the top 7 had anything to do with how much they like you. They liking you is fine, but that's not a reason to give you money. Think about this here. There are a lot of people that you know in business that you like personally that you've never done business with. And there are a lot of people that know you and like you personally and have never done business with you either. Why? Because liking you is not enough. Let me say this. Normally you hear this from very well-intentioned people. And they are very well-intentioned and they know what they're saying. But this mantra, people do business with people that they know, like, and trust. You've heard it said before a lot of times. And the problem with it is that it's an abbreviation. And the other problem with it is that it's partially true. It's partially true. The know, like, and trust factor is an abbreviation from the original Greek formula, which meant people do business with people must listen to you before they can like you. They must like you before they can trust you. And they must trust you before they can buy from you. The difference between the Greek formula originally is they only have to like you enough to hear your story. They do not have to like you enough to put you in their wedding. They have to like you enough to hear what you have to offer. Okay? Know, like, and trust by itself will get you in a place where you have a lot of friends, but not business. You want to like them, yes, but you also have to give them a good reason to work with you. Like you're going to save them time in an area. You're going to help them earn more money in the area. You're going to relieve some of their stressors or take away some of their worries. Those things added to how much they like you is a reason to give you money. I've got 5 minutes and some change left. I'm hopeful that someone found some value already in what I said, but I'm going to use my whole time too. I love to study sales. I study it daily for the last 30 years. I'm hoping everyone does. Yes, use every second, Sister Haley. I'm going to use them all. Okay, I accept my time. I got 5.5 minutes to go. So the 7 reasons why people will say yes to you. Know, like, and trust, understand by itself is going to hurt your business. You must give them a good reason to work with you. Now, let me say this too. In the 5.5 minutes, y'all need to, because I'm going to impact somebody's life. People are going to hire you for either emotional reasons or for logical reasons. Emotional reasons are the way they imagine that they're going to feel after they have done business with you. Logical reasons are because it's smart and it makes sense and it's a good deal. Emotion has to do with the heart. Logic has to do with the brain. When the brain and the heart are in conflict, the heart invariably wins. People buy 9 times faster what they want than what they need. So understanding this to be true, you must learn to sell yourself and your services with your secret weapon. And the secret weapon of selling yourself and your services is the word emotion. Emotion. Okay? Now, the primary tool that you use to employ your secret weapon emotion are the words that you choose. And there's some words that you need to add to your library now to help you to sell better. Hopefully you wrote down the 7 reasons why people want to give money. Hopefully you understand know, like, and trust by itself is not enough already. But get this part too, because I got 4 minutes left. Learn to use these words often and comfortably. The number 1 most emotional word in the English language starts with an L. Guess what it is? You're right. It's the word love. Most adults have taught themselves how to become uncomfortable saying the word love. I'm going to suggest to you that you get comfortable using the word love comfortably and often when you're offering your services, but not so that you're the star of the story. Like, I love helping people to sell better. Wrong way, because I'm the star of the story. I'm not selling to me. You're going to love the confidence you have once you learn how to sell better. You're going to love, or my clients say that they love. You're going to They say, use the word love like that to offer your services because it feels good. It's number one secret for you, using emotional words. Love is the first word I want you to learn how to use. The second word I want you to use is the second most emotional word in the English language. Other than love, this word evokes more feelings than any other word. Starts with an H. What is the second most emotional word in English language starting with an H? No, it's not hate. It's actually the word home. H-O-M-E, home. I'll be home for Christmas. Home sweet home. There's no place like home. For most people, the home is where your stuff is, where mom and them is, your food is, all your stuff. Learning to use the word home and offering your services will help you get closer to the clients. You're going to love going home knowing that. Now, I use both the word love and home in the same sentence there. But everyone in your home will notice a difference in you if you let me help you. Everyone in your home will be benefited by this policy. Love, home. The third word, I got 2 minutes left. The third word I want you to learn how to use often and comfortably is the word that most adults wish they heard more often. They really wish someone would say this word to them. And everyone that's willing to say this word to them, they like so much better. The word that most adults wish they heard more often is the sound of their own first names. Their own first names. And the coolest thing about saying a person's first name, like Haley, the coolest thing about saying their name is you cannot overdo it. Every time you say their name, they like you more. It's almost like you're edifying them just by being willing to say their name. And you can't overdo it. Okay, you can say their name again and again and again, and you cannot overdo it. Learning to use the word love comfortably, learning to use the word home comfortably and offering your services, and paying them a credit by using their name. I know that somebody today got an answer to a question. I know someone today learned something from Brother Brian, maybe that they didn't know before, but that they can use immediately. What I wanted to do is give you things that were immediately actionable. And I'm hopeful that I accomplished my goal. Maybe someone can confirm what my initial goal was. I said, everyone that hears my talk is going to be better at selling themselves and their services when I'm done than they were before I started. Did I accomplish my goal? Somebody give me an amen or something. That's my time. Okay. Sister Haley, come on in with me. I could go on for hours and days, but I wanted to do this. How are you, Sister Haley?
I am doing good. How are you doing, Brother Brian?
I'm good. Thank you.
You have brought it home, and I loved it, Brian.
You loved it. I brought it home, and you loved it. Look at that's what's called applied learning, demonstrated abilities right there. Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you so much for being a speaker. That was incredibly powerful, y'all. Let's give Brian a round of applause because we loved his talk so much and he just brought it all together and brought it all on home for us. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you very much as
well. That was awesome. Thank you guys for joining us for this month's WEN-Talk. Make sure that you follow Brian and learn more from him about his amazing ability to help you bring in more sales. Thank you guys. Bye.